Hi, welcome to Linwood Food Bank. I'm Alissa. I'm the executive director. Every year for Thanksgiving, we give you guys apples and oats. And the reason we do that is because we're trying to help you have a healthy Thanksgiving. And to be honest, one of my absolute favorite desserts, and that of my family, is apple crisp. So we're going to show you how to make it, and we're going to use the very exact recipe that we distribute with our Thanksgiving baskets, which, just so you know, comes from this cookbook, which I received almost 30 years ago as a wedding gift, and I still have it and I still use it. It's a good cookbook. So our ingredients are apples. We have flour, we have brown sugar, we have oats, we have cinnamon, butter, a little bit of lemon juice. We have a measuring cup. We have a nice knife. And we have a potato peeler and a little apple slicer. I'm not actually going to use these because sometimes I don't like to do the work of peeling apples, but quite frankly, this is where all the vitamins are in your apple skin. So we're going to keep these on and make our dish just a smidge healthier. Okay, so we have rinsed our apples so that they're nice and clean. And what I have here is just a quick spray of canola oil into my pan. And this we're actually using for a birthday celebration tonight, so we're doubling the recipe. Like I said, there's all kinds of ways to do this. I actually cut like this and do the core away from the core just to make it a little easier. And I'm going to toss them in. Quick and easy. I don't have to core. I have flat edges for all my chopping. That way my knife doesn't go, ah, because nobody likes cut fingers. Give us just a minute and we'll chop them all. Okay, so it is a good idea to always do your slices of whether it's apples or carrots or whatever you're making the same size so that everything cooks evenly. So we have a lot of apples. So the first thing I'm going to do, or the next thing I'm going to do, is we're going to spray this with or squirt some lemon juice in here. I'm really bad at measuring. I don't do it. So that was just a squirt. I'm going to toss it. This will help keep some of the browning from happening. And just because we have a lot, I'm going to do a little bit of extra. Just a little tossing. The next thing we're going to do is toss some sugar and cinnamon in there. Open up my container there. It says about 4 tablespoons, so about 8 tablespoons is what we're looking for. I think this is brand new, so let's get rid of this. And you can see how well I don't open jars and containers. Alrighty. Oh, that smells good. I love cinnamon. Okay. And, you know, the recipe doesn't call for this, but I'm going to add it anyway because it makes a difference. So when cooking something like this, the apples, as they get hot, will express juice. But do we want just a juicy apple crisp, or do we want our apples to have some thickness to the juice? And that is why I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the apples to thicken the juice as they cook. I feel like maybe I have too many apples for this pan. Good thing the apples shrink when they cook. And just a little bit more because I've doubled it. So one of the things about the way I cook, which maybe everybody else doesn't do, but I don't usually use salt. So I tend to over season my food with seasonings so that I have no need to add salt. Okay, so we're going to do this. And we are going to set this aside and we're going to make the topping next. So give me just a minute to clean up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is kind of more like cooking, but the rest is more like baking. And when it comes to baking, you're supposed to actually follow the directions. So let me read you what we're supposed to be doing next. And just to let you know that beeping Sam was telling us that our oven is preheated to 375. So we are going to put half a cup of rolled oats, half a cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of flour, a quarter teaspoon, you have a choice here, nutmeg, ginger, or cinnamon, a quarter cup of margarine or butter, a quarter cup of chopped nuts or coconut, which I don't usually add, and we're not going to add them today. So let's go ahead, and remember I'm doubling it. So I'm going to start with one cup, which you will do half a cup of brown sugar. My memory, I'm getting older here. So we need half a cup of oats, I keep my directions in my oats so I don't forget how to make oatmeal. 1, 2, because we're doubling it. And how much flour? Flour is a quarter cup, so we're going to do a full half cup here. Okay. And then quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and like I said, I just love cinnamon. I didn't bring the cup. Can't go wrong with too much cinnamon. It's good. Now a quarter cup of butter. So this, that is a quarter cup, half of a stick of butter. So we're going to do the whole. And I'm going to move this aside because we're going to work this in. I've had this out for a couple of hours to warm up, but it's still not completely warm because, you know, it's November in Seattle. So I'm just going to do a few cuts. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's going to make it easier to work in. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to have to really wash my hands good after this one. Okay, so now I got that into 4 pieces. And now I'm going to add that in little pieces. We're trying anyway. I have don't especially like the way butter feels on my fingers. And one more. Okay. Give me a minute to go wash my hands. Okay, my hands are clean again, and we'll see how long. I'm gonna start, I already started, with a fork and see how that does for my mashing of the butter and mixing. But to be honest, it doesn't look like it's doing a good enough job. I think I'm gonna switch to a spoon so I can mash it against the wall. And this is probably the worst part. And if you don't have a lot of patience, you might end up putting it in the microwave for 30 seconds and then seeing if that makes a difference and being able to mix it, because to be honest, it's still just a square. Some people say I have a lot of patience. That's not always true. I think I'm gonna have to cheat and use the microwave. So, oops, that happens. Okay, pause. 30 seconds in the microwave. It still kind of looks the same, but we'll give it a shot and see what we can come up with here. Now, the other thing I could do is actually use my hands to mix it, which I was kind of trying to hope to avoid, because something you don't know about me is I don't like to get my hands dirty when eating food. And I know this isn't eating, it's still cooking, but for some reason, it's not my favorite thing. But they are clean, so I am going to do it. For the sake of the video. Okay. Doesn't feel good. Try to keep just one hand clean. Let's see if we can do it that way. So here's what we're looking at now. Oops. Some big chunks. Now, I think personally one of my favorite pieces of apple crisp is when we have little chunks, little chunks like this that have become very crispy, and rather than just the whole little sprinkling, but with the little clumps. Yeah, the person on the other side of the camera is going, yum. She agrees. And thank you to my daughter for taping this for us. Okay, I think we are pretty good. So I am just going to tip the bowl, and hopefully you can see what it looks like. Now I'm going to take my pan and scoop this around the side here. Put that aside and sprinkle it across without destroying all the little balls that we made. But some of them don't need to be 1 inch big. This is going to be good. I always like to make sure I get it in the corners too. Get every area covered. Like that. Get that. And try not to show you the bottom of the bowl, sorry, but that's the way it works. Alrighty. This is going to get nice and bubbly. So just in case, I'm going to cook it on a cookie sheet so we don't spill into our oven. And 375. I can't put my glasses on because my hands are dirty to tell you how long. So give me just another minute. Okie dokie. So this says 375. Bake 375 oven for 30 to 35 minutes. We're going to cook it a little bit longer just because we are doubling it. But just also so you know, for this recipe, this says also tastes wonderful with pears, peaches, apricots, and berries. So I hope that this makes your Thanksgiving dish just a little bit easier now that you've seen somebody make it, and I know you will love the taste. It's a wonderful flavor. We'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Thank you. All right, and so now we have our finished product. As you can see, it's not overflowing like it was before we cooked it. But we are ready to eat it. So just remember, it's as simple as apples, sugar, oats, flour, brown sugar, cinnamon, and you are good to go. Oh, butter. And then you are good to go and have a delicious finish to any holiday dinner. Thank you for watching.